everyone, welcome back to Book and Prejudice. My name is Mar, and today we're going to be chatting about all of the books that I've read in September, as well as all of the books that I'm hoping to read in October. So grab your drink of choice. I have myself a coffee right here, and let's get going with the video, shall we? Oh, I don't think I put sweetener in this. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm not gonna do anything about it now. All right, let's get started with my September books. Now in September I read 4 books, which is on average what I normally read in a month, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. But I would say it was a weird month because I read 2 books that I really liked, a book that I thought was okay, and a book that I really disliked. It was quite up and down. Very emotionally distressing, really. Now, the first book that I read was Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, and this was the Booker Prize winner of 2023. Now, my husband and I have this really sweet tradition in which every year he will buy me whichever book wins the Booker Prize that year. And I'm only reading it now because, I don't know, I only read it this month. But I read it, and I would say I gave this book a 3-star. Maybe I would dare going 3.25, but Goodreads doesn't allow, so 3 it is. And this book kind of takes place in a not so far away Ireland, in which the political landscape is very quickly changing and shifting. We follow the Stack family, specifically Eilish Stack, who is the mother and wife and main character of the book. Now, she is tasked with having to take her children through this new journey as politics are changing, political persecution is much more around because there's how can I say this without spoiling? Not spoiling books is very hard. Okay, I know. At the beginning of the story starts with one of Eilish's family members being taken for being a unionist. Now, the first, I'd say, half of the book is Eilish trying to find this family member. The second part of the book, which is when it hits the fan, like everything goes crazy, and I started enjoying it, is accepting the situation and learning how to live and determining what is best for her family. And I really like this book. I struggle with this book. I'm gonna say the bad bits first. We forgot to speak there apparently. The bad bits are, the beginning is very slow. Like the first 200 to 50 pages are very slow. There's no dialogue, like quotation, so you're just kind of jumping all over the place. There's no time frame, so you're just confused, frankly. So that's what I really struggled with the book. It was like very slow. Eilish thinks everything 75,000 times, which means that not much happens throughout the book. But then suddenly, like as the political landscape starts to quickly change, and it starts to pick up the pace of like Eilish's life and Eilish's children's lives, that's when it became very interesting. And I really like to see kind of how all of the characters responded to the situation that they were in, because they were not in an easy situation. They, you know, the political instability that was portrayed in this book as well was very realistic and very much what we're seeing political instability look like at this moment in time and in history. So I thought that was very interesting. It really showcased the role of social media, the role of things like having access to the international media. So I thought that was very, very interestingly portrayed. My husband and I also always joke that the Booker Prize book always takes place in Ireland, because I've read, I want to say 5 or 6, and 3 of them have taken place in Ireland. But I would say I really liked this. I was just slow. Like the beginning was just slow, and I was like, come on, can we please pick up the pace? And then they did, and then it got a lot better. So 3 stars for the Prophet Song. Definitely recommend reading this if you want to just kind of get really stressed out about where we're going. That's what happened to me, at least. The next book that I read, completely different vibe, was, I forgot the name. 1 second. I have a little notebook here that I write everything just in case this happens. Okay. The next book I read was Off to the Races. Now, Off to the Races is, I want to say the first or the second series that Elsie Silver has written. I know it is, I don't know, I forgot the other name. Well, I'm not gonna remember. 1 second. One second, I am Googling. This would be my books. My reading challenge. What are you called, dude? How did I read this? No. Okay. So, I don't know if the Gold Rush Ranch series, which is where Off the Races takes place, went before or after the Chestnut Spring series. Now, I read the Chestnut Spring series ages ago, earlier in the year, like a long time ago. And so I was like, oh, she's got more books, and I really enjoyed her writing style, which is crazy because I've never liked romance books, but here we are. Silly little romances and I tied as thieves. Anyways, I thought I'll give them a chance, and I read Off to the Races, which is the first one in the Gold Rush Ranch series. That's a very hard sentence to say, and I love that book. It was adorable. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Admittedly, 1 full star was given because there was a high amount of horses in this book, and I'm a horse girl at heart, so I was very pleased with that part, not gonna lie. But I love that. We followed the life of Billy and the love interest, who is the owner of the ranch, and Billy starts to work at the ranch, and feelings start coming towards the nameless owner of the ranch. If I remember the name, I'll put it somewhere. I don't remember it. No. Anyways, it's great. It's such silly romance cowboy, not even cowboy, just like a romancy book. And I loved it. I read it in my lunch breaks when I get them at work. I've been very busy, so I haven't had many of those. But when I do, I bring my Kindle and I read the book, and it was such a nice little mental break. For like an hour, all I got to do was listen to this girlie trying to figure out if she should get with her boss or not. I won't spoil how it ended, but you know. And I love it because I know that they're connected to the Chestnut Springs series, and I love the Chestnut Springs series. I honestly loved it. This has been the year that Mara discovers silly little romance books, and Mara is loving it. But yeah, that was the second book that I read. Off the Races, 4 out of 5. Horses, romance, really rich people. Like, I don't know how these people are so rich. Like, there's more billionaires out in the literature world than I bet there are in real life. But anyways, I really liked it. If you want to read something silly and like fun and lighthearted, read it. We don't have time to be uppity-duppity about life. And I am very happy that I've given romance a shot, even though I was super against it at the beginning. Because now my life is a lot better. Like, I'm just like, yeah, go with your boss. Great idea. 10s across the board. Would recommend to literally no one. But go on, girly. That's me. That's me in my lunch break. Alright, let's get to the next one, which I did not like. It was horrible. I'm part of 2 book clubs. One is an online book club that I have with my 2 best friends, and another one is an IRL book club that I have with a few of my friends' friends who are now becoming my friends. It's a bit complicated. And these girls are proper adults, and they like think, and they like thought-provoking, and apparently they don't like dragons, because every time I propose a book, I don't get it. So they picked, what is it called again? This is Cursed Bread by Sophie McIntosh, which I gave 2.5 stars. which I thought was generous. I'm not gonna lie. Now this book, the story itself, crazy, especially because it's a real story, it's like a fictionalized version of something that actually happened. It takes place in this town in France, in which, I don't want to spoil it, but two people come into a town, and our main character becomes obsessed with them. And it's really hard to describe this book without spoiling it, because it's very, you know, two people come in. Our main character gets obsessed with the woman there, and then crazy stuff starts happening. Like, crazy stuff happens. Has to do with the bread. I don't know how else to explain it. The reason I didn't like this book was because I didn't like the story. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the romance. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like any of it. Like, it just wasn't my style of book. The other girls really liked it. The other girls are a lot smarter than I am. One of them has a PhD, so they know how to think thoughts that make sense. I was just there thinking this could very well be witchcraft, and I'd be okay with that. But the good thing about this book, and I will give it to them, it was full of like metaphors, and I'm a sucker for a good metaphor. First of all, cursed bread in the 1950s, first thing that I thought was breadwinner. Oh, thought. Also, at one point, they chuck someone into the river, which is why I thought the witchcraft part, but no, it wasn't witchcraft, okay? There's no magic, which is, albeit disappointing, made sense because this was not a magic book. But yes, I'm very, very upset with the book. I didn't like it, like everyone else did. So if you like thought-provoking, hard, stressful books, read it. That's just not what I wanted. Like, that's not what I want on a very stressful after, like, I don't want to have to go to work. I work in customer service. I get shouted at a lot. I have a stressful job. It's been a stressful summer. Then I come home and I'm like reading a book about someone that goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and a town that just loses it. It's not for me, guys. It's just not for me. And then the last book that I read, I love. Again, 4 out of 5 stars, guys. And that is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. And this was an inadvertent gift from my friends Julie and Julia, who got me a voucher, and my husband, for books. And this is one of the books that we picked. I picked. Greg did not pick this book. I picked it though. And this is a fairy tale retelling. I don't know what fairy tale. Like, I'm sure that if I googled, I would know what fairy tale. I didn't catch on what fairy tale it was. But it's fine. It's fine. And it follows Mara, whose sisters have both been severely abused by their husband, who is the same guy. And it's complicated. And he's also a prince to like the northern kingdom? Northern kingdom, I guess is the best way of putting them. So she gets, it's like gets the band together, and it is a band of odd people. Like, we have a dog made of bones, we have a dust wife, we have a fairy godmother that is not exactly what you think, a former knight that's kind of had enough, and a demon chicken. And off they go to help his sister. And I thought it was very nice. I love this book. I thought it was, at the beginning, I will say, it starts in a very, not graphic way, but you know what, no, graphic way. Like a lot of description of bones. Not for me. And cannibalism. Not graphic, but like alluding to. And I was just like, what am I getting myself into? And then, like, I want to say 100 pages in, I was hooked, and I loved it so much. I thought it was such a good book. That was so cozy. I thought it was perfect as well to start this spooky season. And I don't like calling it spooky season because there will be nothing spooky about what I do. I'm not someone that tolerates spooky, so not for me. Sorry, dudes. But I really liked it. I really liked our main character, Mara. I really liked, you know what? I really liked the godmother as well. I really like the godmother. I don't know if that's controversial. I don't think so. She doesn't do anything weird. But I really like her. I was like, girly, I want to be your friend. And I really like the relationship between the godmother and the dust wife. And I really like them. There were no massive plot twists. This is not like a book that will have you like giving you whiplash. It was just like very much like, we're doing this to do that. And I love that. Like, it was like a very straightforward. I didn't find any plot twists. I didn't see any attempts at a plot twist either. I just thought it was really nice. It was like a nice little questy book, and I love a good quest book. And I thought that she did a fantastic book, and I'm actually going to be buying some more of her books, I think, because not now, no more book buying as per my previous video, but I liked it. I recommend, if you want something good for like this season of the year, like the autumn season, this is for you. Yeah, I really liked it. I would recommend it. I did not think I was gonna like it this much. I will be very honest. I got it because I like the fact that it had bones. Like, you can see the bones in the... Can you see the bones? I don't know if you can see bones, but there's bones in the cover, okay? Like, the title's made with bones, and I thought that was very smart. And I like the idea of having a bone dog. That's it, guys. Anyways, let's get going with what I want to read in October. And this is quite an ambitious list. So I can already feel my friend Celia messaging me and saying, you're not gonna read half of those books, but listen, don't be a hater. I will try really, really hard. And the first book that I have is, as I mentioned earlier in another video, which you should go watch, Rouge by Mona Awad. Now, Mona Awad wrote Bunny, which I read and I raved about on multiple occasions. And I was so excited when I heard that she had a new book and that it had to do with skincare and cults, because I am a sucker for both of those. In fact, my biggest fear in life is joining a cult by mistake. I feel like that is something that could potentially happen. And I don't think I'm ready for it. But I will try to defend myself if that is the case. But I really liked it. I really liked it. I started it. I'm 68 pages in. And it's just really good. So you're following Belle, whose mom has just died under somewhat mysterious circumstances. Let's just leave it at that. And she's come back to California from where she lives. She lives in Montreal. She's come to California to kind of bury her mom and get her affairs in order and everything. And she's just trying to figure out what the heck her mom was happening to her mom, because in the last few months of her life they became quite estranged and her mom was acting really weird, almost like if she was losing her head, but nobody could explain to her why or what was happening. Up to where I've read, she's come back home. She's found out that she has a lot of debt, that she's given up on a lot of things that she loved, like her shop. And that's not a spoiler, by the way, that's all in the back. Like, I'm not spoiling it to you guys. And as of when I finished reading earlier today, she was about to enter into the spa that her mom belonged to. Like, her mom was part of like this spa / health club called La Maison de Méduse, which I love that, because as you can see from the cover, it looks like a rose, right? Which is relevant because they keep saying something about a rose here. But that is a jellyfish if you turn it around. And Méduse is jellyfish in French. So I'm really liking it. I think I'm gonna love this book. My mother-in-law told me that she thought it was very weird, but really gripping. And I am so ready to read this. I don't know what's happening. I love how Mona Awad writes, because she writes in a very confusing way. I don't know if it will be like Bunny, which you finish and you actually don't know yet where you're standing, but I'm so excited to continue reading this. In fact, I'm going to be reading a lot more of it today. The next book I have is The Absolute Book by Elizabeth Knox, gift from my husband for my birthday. First thing that I have to say about this book, and it's going to sound so weird, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this. It's a very like stodgy book. Like, it feels like, you know when you have bread and it's not airy, it's like really compact. that's what this book feels like, for lack of a better word. I don't know why. Now, this book follows the life of Taryn Cornick, who has no memories in her head from her childhood or in general. In general from her childhood. And she is trying to solve the mystery of her family library, which kind of starts after her sister gets murdered. And I'm guessing we're gonna be following Taryn as she figures out something about an absolute book. I'm very excited. It has a Raven, and that's why I picked it for October. I'm not gonna lie, like that's it. That's the main reason. But I'm very excited to read it. I think this is gonna be super fun to kind of expand a little bit. And also, I've seen this book out for a couple years now, and I've always been interested by it, but I have never picked it up, and my husband very wisely thought I would like it, so we'll see how it goes. Next up, we have for my online bestie book club, A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. First of all, before we even get started, I went on a bit of a rabbit hole the other day. There was some beef with a Goodreads review, and this was one of the authors that was like criticized for it. I don't know, like Google it. It was so crazy. I was so confused by the whole thing. Loved it. Don't get me wrong. Loved it. But super confused by it. Anyways, this is the first book in the series Saga of the Unfated. Oh, that's it. Saga of the Unfated, book 1. And we are very excited to read it. I think one of my friends has already read it, but the other one has not. And it follows Freya, who's kind of in a bit of a crappy marriage, from what I can tell. And she has a secret. Her secret is that she has a drop of a god's blood. And that makes her powerful. And we're gonna figure out why, how that happened, and what that means. Also, look how pretty this book is. And, oh wait, no freaking way! Wait, haha! It's Norse mythology, and it has like, that's so cool. Alright, that's gonna be what I'm gonna be reading, and I'm actually gonna have to read this pretty quickly because book club is the 18th of October. And it's stressful because I have a new job lined up, so we'll make it work, guys. Next we have, I'm excited for this one. We have Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. This is Leigh Bardugo's new series, and I would like to say I don't think even remotely that Leigh Bardugo's ever gonna see this, but just the off chance, can you please finish the Hellbent series, the Ninth House series? Like I thank you for starting a new series. Please finish the other one first so that I don't forget. Because last time when I read Hellbent, I couldn't remember Ninth House, and I didn't love that feeling. Also, it had a dead rabbit, and I didn't love that either. So maybe tone it down on the covers too. But anyways, Leigh Bardugo's new series takes place in Spain, where I am from, and it takes place during what time in Spain? During the Inquisition. Not a great time to do magic, which obviously our main character can do. Also, I love nothing more than when non-Spanish speakers do Spanish books, like books that take place in Spain, because they use all of the funky names that like they're so classic Spanish. So our main character is called Lucia. I know like 55 Lucias. A really good friend of mine is called Lucia. Lucia is not spelled with a Z, but this girlie spelled with a Z, and I'm so excited for it. And also, I would like to point out this book is gorgeous. So this is a Waterstones edition, and obviously it looks nice. Look at those sprayed edges, guys. And also, okay, I'm guessing like the Familiar might be a scorpion because like they're everywhere, like scorpion. And also, if you open the book, look at that, stunning. But anyways, I'm very excited to read this. I think this is a perfect book for October as well. Yes, I might not be able to read them all. Boy, oh boy, there's 2 left. deal with it. The next one that I don't have here. It's called Photo Finish. It's the second one in the Gold Rush Ranch series. And it follows Violet. And I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Violet is the sister of the brothers in the Gold Rush Ranch series. And I'm just so excited. No, on the Chestnut series, I'm so excited because it's gonna be like, because like, okay, I think me thinks that Violet had a partner when like the Chestnut Spring series took place, which leads me to believe that the Gold Rush Ranch series comes first. I don't know. It's called Photo Finish. It follows Violet and another broody man, the sibling of the male character of the previous book of the Races. And I'm just so excited to read it. I have it in my Kindle. Like, I've already started a little bit. I'm not in a hurry. That's for when I don't want to burn. Like, when I don't want to burn, I just will pick that book up. Very excited about it. I just feel like a detective here. Because also, Elsie Silver has another book series called Wild Love, Wild Eye, something like that. Is that what connected to these ones? I don't know. I need to catch up. Anyways, we'll be reading Photo Finish as well because, as you can tell, I'm stressed out about it. And then the last book that I have is, this one's so nerdy. It's Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia and Bill Gifford. But he's in tiny and Dr. Peter Attia is in big, so I'm guessing he wrote most of it and he just sense checked the science. And this is a book, it's just a health book so that I can learn a bit more about health and how to live longer. It sounds very interesting. The Science and Art of Longevity. If I like it, I'm gonna give it to my dad, and I can see that here because he doesn't watch my videos. So I'm very excited to read it. I mean, if it's good enough for Hugh Jackman, it's good enough for me. I'm not gonna lie, who am I to go against him? He is a god walking about amongst men. Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine? If I can get anywhere close to being as healthy as Dad was, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? And also a YouTuber that I really like called Chelsea Trevor also read it, and she said that she thought it was very enlightening, and I want to be enlightened, so here we are. Hi. But anyways, that's all I have. That's my plan. That's everything that I've read in September, everything that I'm hoping to read in October. Please let me know if you think I'm gonna make it. I have faith, but you know what, faith is the last thing you should lose in the battlefield, so I might be wrong here, but I'm gonna try my damnest. I don't plan on finishing, for example, Outlive. I don't plan on finishing. I just want to read maybe a couple chapters. I'm on page 12, maybe reach page 100. Like, not in a hurry about it. But yeah, that's everything that I'm planning on reading in September. Everything that I'm planning on reading in October. Everything that I read in September. And if you liked it, you can stay in the channel and see how I go, because I will be talking about this in further videos. Also, you can find out about it quicker in my Instagram, because I post book reviews there too. That is at Book of Prejudice too. But that's all for today, folks. I hope you liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye!